Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone's had a good week. Sorry I'm a little late getting going here. We had had some technical issues that I had to take care of before I could get the stream going. But we are good to go now. Do let me know if I need to adjust the volume. Alright, well here we go. Everyone's having tea in the living room shortly before lunch. Suddenly, while we're watching TV... Wait, where's this coming from, Fujine? I hear those words. There's an indescribable tension in the air. Everyone's probably thinking the same thing. Right? Ilya sets her mug of tea down with a thud, speaking for everyone. Sakura speaks up next. Then Tosaka. Do let me know if there's any issues, please, in the chat. I don't think she's going to calm down, period. Oh wow, she said all that on one friggin' breath. That is impressive. Wait, what is... Oh, there goes Seba. Oh, knocked her out! Holy crap! It looks like Saber only lightly tapped her, but Fujine slumps over. I feel bad for her, but this was the quickest and most appropriate solution. Saber apologizes to me after carrying Fujine off to her room. You didn't do anything to apologize for. Who knows what tragedy might have unfolded if we'd let her be. Tosaka gave the order to begin with. That's exactly what we're saying. We had to do it. No, I'm not criticizing anyone. If Saber hadn't stepped in, I might have needed to risk my life to stop her. Looking at it that way, we go off with the bare minimum of casualties. Or got off with the bare minimum. Tiger really is hopeless. Ilya sighs in exasperation as she brews more tea. An instantaneous answer. Sakura blurted it out on reflex before Tosaka was even done talking. Are we sure about that, Sakura? Then what did you mean by it? I have a feeling I shouldn't ask. Still though, it feels weird to hear her bring up marriage suddenly. It's true that everyone else here isn't living a lifestyle that could lead to a traditional marriage household anytime soon. Sakura and I make eye contact. Tosaka notices and smirks at me unsettlingly from an angle that only I can see. Hey Gumi! Welcome to the stream. I watched a little bit of anime. I finished episode 6 of Madoka Magica. So I believe I'm now halfway done the series. That's true. I never see one myself, but people do hold wedding ceremonies at the Fuyuki Church. Wait, so that guy's been blessing people's marriages? I shudder to think. I'm not sure if that would be a wedding or a divine tribunal. Well, Madoka was still all upset about Nomi getting her head nommed. And her friend Sayaka decided to become a magical girl, and her wish gave her friend back the use of his hand. But now she's hell-bent on fighting this other pink-haired magical girl, like, to the death for some stupid reason. So that's all going on while we're waiting for this, I guess, powerful witch to hatch. Right. He was a perfect priest, despite his personality. That was so terrifying about him. Or that's what was so terrifying. The people closest to marriage that I know of would be Mr. Kazuki and Castor. Wait, do they count?
よろしいでしょうか。結婚式ということでしたら、私にも経験があります。一応ですが、挙式は城で行いましたので。
Okay, so her hair is red. It looked pink for yeah, the red-haired one with the spear that becomes a friggin' chain thing. That is one epic weapon. Eh? My jaw drops along with Sakura and Tosaka. Yes, technically Saber is married. Although I guess you'd call her a widow? Yeah, Guinevere? Oh, there's a lot about Saber's legend I'm unsure of the veracity of, but it's widely written that King Arthur was married. Kyoko? Yes, she is. I do like her. Not as much as Homura, though. Homura is still my favorite. But given how that marriage ended, it didn't feel like a subject I could broach out of casual curiosity. I met Tosaka in Sakura's eyes. They must have been thinking the same thing.
ねえ、どんな風に暮らしてたの？あまり参考になるとは思いませんよ、イリアスフィール。それでも良いのですか？ええ、参考にする気なんてないもの。そうですか。
It's a good thing that Fujine isn't around.
式そのものは盛大なものでした。
Yeah, I'll bet the ceremony was damn extravagant.
続いたでしょうか。私と彼女、ギネビアの婚姻は国中に祝福されたものだったと言えるでしょう。偽りとはいえ。
I think Sayaka is going to get herself hairball. I think Sayaka is going to get herself in a lot of trouble. Not meaning to get herself in a lot of trouble, but I think it's going to happen. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
とはいえ、私は彼女の夫である前に王だった。もっとひどい言い方をするのであれば、王として彼女と結婚したとも言える。じゃあ、好きじゃなかったのに、その人と結婚したんですか？
Well, I'm sure she cared a great deal for Guinevere.
ええ、私なりに彼女に好意を抱いてはいましたが、それだけでは夫として不十分だったのでしょうね。結果として私たちは互いを裏切ることになった。彼女が不遇の人生を送り、その名誉を汚された責任の一端は間違いなく私にありました。それでも確かに私はできる限り男性として彼女を愛そうとしたのです。
I appreciate the suggestion. I'm rather enjoying it. Have you, Gumi, have you gotten in any more fairy tale?
婚姻そのものは政治のためでしたが、あの結婚式の時だけは彼女の幸福を切に願えた。それは私にとっても人間として幸福な時間だったと思います。
Saber's voice is so calm, I can't tell what emotion it hides. She finishes the story with a slightly forlorn smile. Aw, poor Saber. Oh, we best go out to the shed and talk to the... Hey, episode 6 is alright. What do you think so far? Yeah, we best head out to the shed and talk to Ryder. Okay. I'll go check on the shed. I just organized it the other day, so it should be nice to work on some salvage for the first time in a while.
シロ、ちょっとよろしいですか?
What? Whoa!
シロ、調子が悪いので見ていただきたいと。どこか緩んでいるのか、手で押さえていてもぐらついて心もとないのです。これまでユラクのままに手荒に扱いすぎたせいなのか、少し触れただけで張りが弱くなっているようで。
That's fair. You gotta do what's important before you worry about what the fun stuff, right? I totally get it. Who's your favorite character so far? She's gotta be talking about her glasses, right? Whoa, wait, the giant wall belonged to Ryder? No, focus. What do you want me to fix? No way, I definitely can't fix that. It's way beyond anything I can handle. What are we discussing here? You should ask, Saber, who knows what it's like, nor Tosaka. I know Sakura. Sakura will know what to do. She's the person you can rely on the most right now. Yeah, you've got to go ask Sakura. See, that now we get to it. We're discussing the bicycle. Poor Shiro. I meant in Fairy Tail, Gumi. But I agree. Homina is awesome. Not as busy as Sakura, no. I curse our height difference. Lucy? I wouldn't have made such an embarrassing misunderstanding if my eye level was slightly higher. Yeah, I'm talking in Fairy Tail. Who's your favorite character so far? When I not walk next to Ryder.
そろそろシロも首元が隠れるような暖かい服を着てはどうです。先ほどから吸血跡が目について。
Yeah, you like Lucy? Yeah, she's pretty fun. Her spirits are just a little bit psycho. Okay, no, I lie. They're a lot of bit psycho. Especially Taurus. He's a frickin' loon, that one. She has to look down like a kindergarten teacher when speaking to me, and it makes me conscious of my own height. Ryder, you're tall. Shiro, that's just mean. Ryder doesn't like that. It's the one thing about herself that she hates the most. That she's tall. No, I'm jealous. I wish I was a little taller. You have an elegant figure, like a model. A charm that draws people's eyes to you just by being there. I mean, she was created as the ideal woman, as like man's literal ideal woman. So, I mean, yes, she's got a charm that draws everybody in.
しかし可愛くはありません。
You're right, you're not cute, you're goddamn adorable. Cute?
それには小柄であることが前提です。私にはどうしようもない。
I agree. Ryder's not cute, she's goddamn adorable. It's true that things we praise as cute tend to be small and delicate, while Ryder's the complete opposite. You want people to think of you as cute then. What would a cute Ryder look like? Exactly what she looks like, to be perfectly honest. Would she carry around a stuffed animal she talks to? Would she move in a way I've seen in video games, clumsily bumping her head on things and fainting? Would she steal a glance at treats we get from Ise and grin at me asking, "What should we do about these, Shiro?" None of those things seem right for her. It's said that we long to be people that we aren't. Ryder seems absolutely flawless from my perspective. But even she's no stranger to insecurity. I guess there's no fixing that. I know, why don't I think about the benefits of being taller?
あまりないですね。
There really aren't any. For example, you can reach the highest items on the top shelf, and you're easy to spot in a crowd.
不利益と差し引きすればマイナスだと断言できます。
Why would you add them also to... I mean, they can be a negative also. Disadvantages? What are you talking about? What are the disadvantages then? I look up at her, judging from her grave, deeply worried expression. This must really bother her. There might be a lot of ugly truths Ryder has to face that I'm unaware of because I'm short. Still, I'm jealous of her height. If I could forget my petty woes and feel like a bigger person. Just like that. When you're in a high place, you naturally express yourself louder too. It must be nice being being high, being tall. Wait, you who? Wait. I meant no age to be saying that. No, that was... The Flying Ilya! Oh, that's grand. Wada! Ilya! Is she jumping down from the... It's too dangerous! We have a crazy person in the house. Even Ilya isn't immune to this common law of physics. But... why is this land dweller trying to fly? Maybe she actually likes falling more than flying? Oh! We're expected to catch her, I get it! Ah, made it! I firmly catch Ilya, who is swan diving through the air with a perfect gymnast posture. But... There's no exhausting her sheer enthusiasm. I roll on the ground while shielding her body with mine. I've been Ilya bombed. I have been Ilya bombed. Ow, ow, that was too much even for a prank. What the hell? Ilya seems fine. Oh, good. Of course she does. I'm bruised all over, though. Honestly, there are mountains of junk over there. It's so dangerous. You'll hurt yourself if they collapse. That's why I wish I was taller. If I was, I could have caught her, no problem. I freeze as if caught on something. Yes, I see that you like Lucilla. Lucy's one of the best characters in the show, actually. Honestly, I think Lucy is the, actual main character and not Natsu. You would save who? Lucy or Ilya? Because we kind of had to save Ilya. When I turn around, the bicycle rider was pushing is on the ground. Rider standing stock still, her arms still outstretched where she was holding the handlebars. Rider? She hasn't even noticed that she dropped the bike. Yes, also save Ilya. We didn't have a choice. When I tried to see what's going on with her, I noticed that her eyes are unfocused and distant behind the mystic eye killers. Uh-oh. Is she gonna petrify us for being an asshat? Rider? What's wrong? Uh-oh. Oh, I think Ryder thinks Ilya at the moment is one of her oh dear. Am I her sister now? Thinking back, Ryder has always been somewhat reserved around me, like she's keeping me at arm's length. I don't find her attitude to be problematic, though I did wonder how she was able to maintain that kind of distance out in public. But now, I'm her big sister? The Mystic Bone Killers. Oh boy. Of course not! Ryder looks around awkwardly. She's behaving very suspiciously. And then you went all kinds of weird on us. What the hell? I doubt you were that hard on it, Ryder. I did watch the opening. It is damn good. It's a really catchy tune too. I really enjoyed the opening. I haven't had time to sit down and watch the outro yet, but I will do that. Just haven't got there yet in life. Yeah, you said that earlier. Also, that's a cat tower, not a bicycle. It's supposed to be an all-purpose jungle gym that cats can scratch, climb, Fujine picked it up somewhere and dumped it in the shed. The bicycle's on the floor. Damn it, Ilya! Wah! The white critter dives again, breaking the awkward silence. Ah, this little berserker never misses a chance to cause chaos. This time, the comet makes a beeline for Ryder. Catch her, Ryder! It's okay. With Ryder's physique and strength, she should be able to catch Ilya. Man, being tall, sure, it must be nice. Yeah, that's what you were saying last stream, that the opening and endings are on YouTube. That's where I actually watched the opening from, actually. Wow, I actually twice in that sentence. Holy crap. She won't even stumble when she catches Ilya. She won't stumble. Why? Ryder's as still as a stone statue. Ryder? Why did you... Ilya, what the hell? Ilya, that was not nice. Good goddamn. Ryder is screaming. And she's swaying on her feet while Ilya's holding on to her. She seems to be going through several psychological or a severe psychological ordeal. You shouldn't treat a Fraulein like a caterpillar. Aw, that's adorable. Yeah, the two ending songs. Yeah, the happy ending, and then it gets darker for the rest of the anime. Yeah. Ah, well. Ilya hugs Ryder around the neck and rubs their cheeks together. Huh? Her reaction is incomprehensible. Did I just stumble on some secret about Ryder that none of us knew about? In fact, yes. Yes, I did. Let us now speak of a distant land. It was a dark myth dyed in blood. The story of the monster Medusa, whose very name brought dread. There was an otherworldly realm called the Shapeless Isle. It was an island in the distant reaches of Okeanos, known only to the three Greek sisters. It was said the terrible Gorgon lived there, a falling goddess transformed into a monster. Movie 4 will be about the origin of the witch that's about to... Okay. Cool. I am looking forward to the movies, actually. Many warriors arrived on the shores of that enigmatic temple. Some went to verify the legend of the Gorgon, while some sought to make their names by defeating it. Others were sent there with great fanfare after being prophesied by an oracle, while others silently took up sword and spear and bow, telling no one of their quest. None returned alive. Not a single man ever escaped the island. They did not even return to the earth upon their deaths. They were turned to stone on the spot, and their lives ended there. The bearer of Sybil, the mystic eyes of petrification, lurked in the temple. Her long hair was like silken threads from the Orient, and her skin was white like virgin snow. Furthermore, her demeanor was drier than Nubian desert, and crueler than a sandstorm. The bearer looked at the petrified men, and her eyes stopped on one. It was the statue of a large, spear-wielding man. His brutish, bulging muscles spoke to the strength he had during his life. The bear examined the statue, her lips slightly curling up at the corner. She raised her strangely shaped dagger at the poor man. She wrapped the statue in chains connected to the pommel of her dagger. In front of the chain, dragging two statues, she crouched down at the basket by her feet and removed a mountain of laundry. A box was filled with garments made from expensive silks and linens, all adorned with frills and ribbons. The bearer painstakingly washed each one by hand, methodically rinsing them in the flowing river, and then hung them to dry on the chairs. She worked diligently, rapidly, using everything at her disposal. Spears became drying poles, swords became hangers, helmets became shoe-drying racks. Once she finished, she noticed a statue casting a shadow over some of the laundry and kicked it over. Well, Purgasnatch is the... That sounds like one of Alice's friggin' familiars that she would have. The mystic eye bearer gazed at the narrow row of statues lining the temple. She sighed with a hint of ennui. She sat on a statue of a man crawling away on all fours. Under the warm sunlight, a dry breeze wafted between her hair and the hanging laundry. Idly, she looked up at the sun, basking in its rays. She didn't look like a goddess to be worshipped or a monster that terrified the world. She was just a girl savoring her moment of rest. An angry voice suddenly rang out in the temple. It was an unusual sound on the island. Many assassins had come to slay the fell serpent in search of glory, so she had to be on guard for attacks at all times, day or night. As a result, this graveyard of bizarrely shaped stones had seen an increase in closed drying racks. Wow. But the mystic eye bearer, who should have been licking her lips at the prospect of a new sacrifice, was instead whimpering as if the world was about to end. A lone, beautiful girl had appeared at the top of a staircase. Still, it sounds like that witch sounds like it would be one of Alice's friggin' familiars from Witch on the Holy Night. It sounds like that witch has the perfect name to be one of Alice's little familiars, one of her fairy tales. Glaring down at the petrified forest. Now, is this Steno or Uriel? Like, seriously, is it Steno or Uriel? I think this one is Steno. It was just too convenient. Oh, damn.
私の端正だった服に鎖の凹凸の跡がついて台無しじゃない。でかいあなたがバカ力で力任せにこするから汚れだけでなく神聖まで落としていいこと？私の体を飾る衣装はあなたの粗雑な服とは違うのです。大柄だからってやることなすことずさんなんだから。
Definitely Steno.
はい、申し訳ございません。
Oh, is that Nach der Tots is Night of the Living Dead, huh? Interesting.
それに私の靴、あんなブサイクな男の上に乗せるなんてどういうこと？お気に入りの靴だったのに。
Harsh.
あれじゃ汚らわしくてもう履けないわ。
Holy crap.
大女総見に知恵が回りかねと言うけれど、あなたと来たら品位や美意識まで欠けているようね。はい、返す言葉もございません。
Nach der Toten, you mean? Fair enough. Everyone makes mistakes.
その服は陰干ししなきゃダメじゃない。焦っちゃってる。もう洗濯一つ満足にできないどころか信じられない。あなたは究極の疫病神なの？それとも最高の役立たずなの？
Man, she's not utterly useless.
どうなの？
She's got more uses than you do, Steno. At least she could do shit.
それは姉様。
Steno's just utterly useless. I mean, so's Uriel, but... No, wait. Uriel can actually fire a bow, so less useless. But Steno here is utterly useless. The only thing she's good for is giving head pats to when she's a good girl, which is, like, never, so... You're right, because she's gonna eat your stupid face.
あなたみたいに裸同然のハレンチな格好で過ごせというの？ この服は姉様たちの。何よ、文句あるの？あなたには私たちの余り物で十分でしょうに。
Oh, really? Huh. Little German lesson during the stream. I'm down. The girl gives the beautiful woman a fierce tongue lashing. She barely comes up to the woman's chest height. It might have been a comical sight to an observer, but unfortunately, the only witness were lifeless statues.
まったくどれもこれも醜いわ。女の男はこんな顔するようになったらおしまいね。これからは美形の男だけ石にしなさい。鑑賞価値のないここの石像は全部砕いて片付けること。今晩までに。
Yeah, it is a German witch name, which is why it's hard to pronounce.
だってこんなにあるのに。
Especially for someone who doesn't know a lot of German.
姉の私がやれと言ったらやるのよ。あなたは妹。この島では奴隷以下の存在なんだから。あとこの前みたいに手を抜いてベルレフォンで石像を一掃するなんてのはダメよ。そんなことしたら神殿まで焼け焦げちゃうでしょ。まったくバレなければいいだなんて誰に見たのかしら。姉様だと思うけど。聞こえたわよ、メデューサ。
Holy crap, Steno just like lost her mind.
信じられない。さっきあなたは奴隷以下だと。
I mean, she still takes after you.
それをもう忘れて姉に反乱を起こせ。そこまでは。やっぱり物覚えの悪いあなたには絶対霊獣の態度を体で教えてあげなきゃ
This will only get you so far, Steno. At some point, Medusa will end you for this. You'll go to beat on her and she'll just end your ass.
逃げるなんて許さないわよ、メデューサ。
The mystic eye bearer ran away from the commanding voice as fast as her legs could carry her. She headed for the stable. There lived Pegasus, the winged horse given as a gift by the sea god Poseidon. She just needed to ride the winged creature into the sky and out of her sister's reach for the time being. Then she could only pray that her sister's mood would improve.
そうすると掃除と食事の用意が。でもあのままだったらお仕置きされて結局できないし。
She lamented as she ran. Now, is that Moyer or Moyer? Like, the first one, how's that pronounced? Just out of curiosity. Her legs were longer, so her sister couldn't keep up with her if she ran. Gloomily, she thought this was the only benefit to her size.
私も姉様みたいに可愛ければいいのに。
She opened the door to the stable, but an expert in Japanese, German, and good at... Damn, dude! The mystic eye bearer froze in her tracks.
姉様、どうしてこちらに？
The girl holding Pegasus' reins laughed, her voice the sound of silver.
あら、ごめんなさいね、メデューサ。ちょうど遠乗りから帰ってきたばかりで、この子は疲れ切っています。私はともかく あなたのように大きくて重たい乗り手はもう乗せられる。そんな、今日は朝から休ませてあげるって。島の外に出たいの？それなら泳いでいけばいいでしょ。あなたの肥えた体なら水によく浮きますもの。いいですか？持ち主として注意しますが、今日はこの子を使ってはいけません。だって
He was actually given to Medusa. Moyer. Or is it... Mauer? Mauer? Okay, Mauer de Toten. Wow, German's hard, man.
困ったメドゥーサね。
I mean, not as hard as Japanese.
妹のものは
That shit's difficult to learn.
姉のものは姉のものだと何と言えばわかるのでしょう。ほんとすぐ楽して私の天まで出かけようとするのはおやめなさい。悲しいわ。その物臭なところは一体誰に似たのかしら。聞こえましたよ、メドゥーサ。仕方ありませんね。私も本意ではありませんが、妹が姉に背くとどうなるか。今度は何も言ってません。ごめんなさい。
Yeah, Uriel and Steno are kind of arseholes. She spun and turned to run, unfortunately.
あら、私のところに戻ってくるなんて姑息なあなたにしては殊勝な心がけね。
We're right back to Steno.
下姉様。
You can speak Japanese too? Nice.
あら、
'Tis
私がメ
impressive.
ドゥーサを捕まえてくださったの？上姉様。
This bears explaining. Two girls appear before Medusa. Exactly alike in appearance, they were none other than Medusa's older sisters. The oldest was Steno, the strong. The second sister was Uriel, the one who flies far. And the youngest sister, a giant woman who bore no resemblance to the other two, Medusa, the dominant. These three beautiful sisters were the infamous Gorgons. Prominent monsters in the Greek world, exiled to the Shapeless Isle, where they petrified countless heroes. However, lest you misunderstand, the heroes only feared the youngest sister, Medusa. The other two sisters had no martial powers to speak of. They were notorious in other ways, but they were goddesses to the men around them. To begin with, the sisters were originally ancient indigenous deities of the Greek world. But only the Olympian goddess Athena, who viewed their beauty with animosity, stole their human worshippers' faith and banished them to the Shapeless Isle. And this is the goddess of wisdom, everyone! Friggin' Athena and wisdom should not be in the same damn sentence. The youngest sister, Medusa, was the subject of Athena's grudge. But the two older Gorgons accompanied their sister to the shapeless isle out of compassion. Afterward, the human word of mouth began to describe them as monsters as well. You could sing House of the Rising Sun in German? Holy shit, dude. I am impressed. Of course, they were only rumors. Steno and Uriel were no monsters. They simply lived as they always had. While Medusa's situation was more complex, the two older sisters were literally perfected goddesses. Steno, the oldest, carried herself with elegant grace and acted thoughtfully. She was said to be the ideal woman, such that any man she addressed would be overcome with joy and swear his eternal loyalty. Uriel, the second sister, was carefree and cheerful with an innocent bearing. She was said to be the ideal girl, such that any man she addressed would quiver with honor and swear to lay down his life for her. The two goddesses lacked the monstrous strength and mystic eyes that Medusa possessed. You could sing a lot of Japanese songs, mostly anime ones. Well, they're really the only ones worth singing, aren't they? They were simply weak, albeit immortal, girls. Athena defamed them, saying that these three sisters were monsters who would never age. This was untrue. Unlike the Olympian gods who had avoided aging by consuming the golden apples, the Gorgons, especially Steno and Uriel, had complete immortality. These goddesses were born as literal idols to be worshipped. They were embodiments of male desire. In exchange for being eternally unaging, they were the weakest entities in the world. They were eternal girls who needed someone's help to survive. They had no power to fight and would starve on their own. Such was the divine core of the three Gorgon sisters. Until they faded from the world, they would always look the same as the day they first sprang into existence. Except for the youngest sister, who was born a failure. Medusa. Unlike her sisters, she did not have the qualities that would make her a perfected goddess. While Medusa's sisters were truly immortal, she possessed an imperfect immortality. I did know that Mitsubishi made the Zero. I did know that. And it was after the war that they started making damn nice cars. As a result, Medusa was destined to mature and would one day become a monster different from her sisters. To her credit, Medusa was a goddess of excellent caliber. The Gorgon sisters were all defined natural phenomenon. One could call them copies or clones. Whether by some mistake of her birth or intentional design, Medusa was a flawed copy of the Gorgons. Her sisters embodied complete immortality, but Medusa possessed no such trait. Still, in exchange, she awakened a number of powers her sisters lacked. Mystic eyes of petrification, the power to interfere with nature at high level, superior physical abilities. One might say that she had the indispensable authority to protect her sisters, who could not survive in the natural world. The three sisters were originally meant to be a single organism, but the difference in their powers caused idiosyncrasies to develop. It was obvious for Medusa, but the two older sisters began to develop slight differences as they interacted with their youngest sibling. Yes, and Sony made missiles before making everything else. The youngest sister was specialized in combat, while the older sisters were perfected idols. Unlike Medusa, they were fond of humans. They invited men to the island, confronted them, and sent them off on new adventures. Eternal idols, embodiments of purest maidens, ideal girls who never aged. Twin goddesses who stuck a sharp contrast to the other haughty, voluptuous goddess. That's right. These goddesses who were only ever loved specialized in being lovely. They were the ultimate sisters whom Medusa could never surpass, no matter how beautiful she became. A pure white gothic Lolita idol duo. Yes, it did. Such was Steno and Uriel's reason for being. Though, that was only true to the men admiring them from afar, who knew nothing of their true natures. Steno, the oldest, carried herself with elegance and grace and acted thoughtfully. She was said to be the ideal woman. Did we not just go through this? Yes. According to a sister who shall remain unnamed, she was lazy to the extreme. I have to agree with you. She didn't care at all for anything that didn't interest her, and was such an abusive master to those she didn't care for that Cerberus would have trembled in fear. Uriel, the second sister, carefree and cheerful with an innocent bearing, was said to be the ideal girl, such that any man would quiver with honor and swear to lay down his life. But, again, according to a sister who shall remain unnamed, she was temperamental in the extreme. To make things worse, she liked to cheat. She wouldn't get mad as long as you kept your mouth shut, and while she was firm believer in it's only cheating if you get caught, she would feel a slight self-loathing afterward, an impish, cowardly second sister. Unlike Medusa, they were fond of humans. They invited men to the island, confronted them, sent them off on adventures. I mean, I wish it wasn't invented as a weapon, but nuclear power could be very helpful. This was also a terrible trap. They loved petty and cute things unconditionally. Or pretty and cute things. And they did like humans. But what they loved wasn't the humans themselves. But using their words to toy with them, confuse and ruin the lives of the humans they liked. In other words, they enjoyed the sight of floundering humans more than they care about having 3 meals a day.
姉様、それは姉様たちが無条件で嫌う醜いものだと思うのですが。呆れた。取り返しのつかないほど趣味が悪いのね、メデューサ。いいこと？綺麗なものがこの上なく無様に踊る。それが本当の美しさというものよ。
And so a great many heroes died to their wiles. They changed the heroes who sought them out with they charged the heroes that sought them out with impossible quests, sending them weeping back to their homelands. A truly fearsome group of sisters. Some challenged Medusa for glory and were turned to stone. Others set out to woo a goddess and were rewarded with mockery to the point of death. O hero, if ye be a man, then turn back here. Agent Orange is way worse? Yes, it is. This island is at the edge of the earth, where was a paradise and an evil den of women of unmatched beauty. Or to put it nicely, it was a lesson to all mortals not to lay hands on a goddess. That about covers the gist of the Gorgon's dark temple. It was a peaceful afternoon. Unusually, there was no challengers that day. As always, Medusa's 2 sisters were picking on her today.
まあ、私からも逃げようとしてたの？私に何をしたのか。まずは話。
Poor Medusa. She was flanked by her identical sisters. Unlike the gradually growing Medusa, Steno and Uriel would always look the same. Their basic personalities were the same, as were their sensibilities. Each sister telepathically felt what the other was thinking. Yes, people are still suffering from it. Absolutely, which is why it shouldn't be used.
私に2度も逆らったことになるわね。ええ、私への侮辱は私への侮辱だから。じゃあ、私と私がお仕置きをしてあげないと。もちろん、妹をしつけるのは姉の義務であり、権利であり、有楽だもの。
Uriel solemnly approached a stone statue next to Medusa. It was a tall, lithe warrior who had raised a great sword.
顔もまあまあ整ってるし、これがいいかしら。
She placed a finger on the man's armor, strained as if to push off, and climbed onto it.
下姉様。
Uriel bent her short limbs and started climbing the man's body.
下姉様、危ないからやめないと。メデューサ、これはお仕置きです。あなたは動かないように。はい。
It was like watching a white snake slither. With slow effort, the girl aimed for the top of the statue. Unable to tear her eyes away, Medusa felt a snake binding her own limbs as well. She couldn't budge. I did not know that. Really? That's... I wouldn't have thought that. Huh. Why not just make vanilla out of vanilla? No, Medusa, they're never gonna forgive you. Her nubile body soared through the... Oh, that's what her problem with Ilia was. That's right, her name is Uriel. She jumps far. The soaring goddess that flew at Medusa's pale neck twisted her lips, bared her teeth, and bit down. It was a fiendish kiss. She cried out as fangs broke her skin and punctured her blood vessels. Oh, because they want to cut corners and not pay for vanilla beans. Gotcha. The sound of lip smacking and tongue lapping could be heard. And then Medusa's shrill scream pierced the air. What would those who knew Medusa later think of this sight? A monster who devoured entire towns and slaughtered hundreds of humans in a single night was now having her blood sucked by a frail girl. The large woman trembled while the lovely girl remained stuck to her. Seated atop Pegasus, Steno licked her lips. It only hurts if you resist. Oh boy. Medusa stood dazed, her blood being drained from both sides of her neck. As if in extreme amnesia. Wow. I cannot speak this evening. Well, the US doesn't know how to make shit out of shit, alright? Just about all their food is fake. Which is why half of it can't be sold here.
くで短慮でボンクラのくせなんて血だけはこんなに美味しいのかしら。お許しくださいお姉様。
Poor Medusa, she's just getting seriously freaking vampired on. The sounds of double blood sucking created a beautiful harmony echoing throughout the temple. On that day, as many other, two sisters taught their younger sister a dreadful lesson. And just to repeat, this was by no means an uncommon occurrence on the island. I realize I'm in the shed. The sun is largely set outside and it's been almost an hour. Huh, that's weird. What were we doing again? I tilt my head confused.
何って私は素人ライダーが土蔵に入ったからこっそり後をつけて。
And you Ilya bombed us and reminded her of and reminded Ryder of her sister being a steno bomb. Or was it a Uriel bomb? Ilya tilts her head too. Ryder is frowning. What's wrong, Ryder? Do you have a headache? Actually, do you remember what we were even doing?
いえ、特別なこと単にシロンがもう少し背が高ければいいという希望を口にしていただけです。
And then we got Ilya bombed. Ah. I pound my palm in realization. That's right, I was just saying that. But why is bicycle number 2 on the ground by Ryder's feet? Ryder, about number 2 there.
さあ、2号車がなぜここに放置されているか。そうですよね、シロ。
Right. You were just stopping by the bike, I'm still feeling a little hazy. But when I look into Ryder's eyes, I can't think of any other explanation. Yeah, China is way worse for fake foods. And, Lay's is like fake chips. Well, I don't know, really call it fake or whatever, but yes, I did see your things there, Gumi.
ええ、きっとシローがこれから修理するために持ってきたのでしょう。私からの要求はありませんが、メンテナンスをするというのなら、ペダル周りとフレームの強化をしてください。タイヤは全く問題ありません。
That's lies. Ryder is lying to us. She just wants out.
それとイリアスフィール。元気なのは微笑ましいのですが、あなたのような幼い少女には高いところは見合いません。見合いませんので、間違っても土蔵の2階からダイブだけはしないように。変なライダー。私頼まれたってそんなことしないのに。
She's not gonna do that. Yes. Yes. Mostly healthy foods. I agree.
結構です。イリアスフィールは物分かりが良くていい。それでは夕食に。
Ryder gives us a mature smile and leaves the shed. I'm rather taken with the handsome figure she strikes from behind and stare as she walks away. But then the handsome woman bumps her head and goes down on her knees. Ryder!
ご心配なく。 それと白このように
I mean, if you're not watching where you're going, being tall can be hazardous to your forehead. Poor Ryder has a big welt on her forehead now. Ryder unsteadily disappears into the courtyard. I see. Being tall isn't easy, huh? I guess we are spending some time at the Emiya house this evening. Oh, we're gonna go talk to Ryder. Wow, we have two options here. What should we do, guys? Should we check up on Ryder or ask about the Holy Grail War? What should we do? I'll leave this decision in chat's hands. I think all I buy is Chapman's anyway, so we're good there. But yes. Which should we do, guys? Ask Ryder about the Holy Grail War, or just check in on her? Scoomy, you think we should do ask her about the Holy Grail War? Anybody else want to... We'll just give it another second in case anybody else wants to... Alright, well, I guess we're asking about the Holy Grail War. Hopefully we get to something new here. Oi. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on here. Stopped responding for whatever reason. Hopefully, oh, here we go. I don't know why it does that every now and then. A purple serpent sips blood. 3 a.m. Tonight, a one-sided slaughter began again. I'm sorry, Connie. Your comment was just a... I'm sorry. We already... I guess you... I don't know, are you a little bit behind on this stream, maybe? We will have to check in on Ryder anyway. So it just may not be this stream, but we will definitely be hitting that on our next go around through the week, probably. Okay, welcome to the stream. Glad you're enjoying. The stage was now lifeless Miyama as usual. Every means of execution is employed. With the changes in methods occurring every instant, the mood shifts. Skewering by large stake-like daggers. Death by hanging from streetlights. Squeezed to death by chains. Like I said, pretty much all I buy is, I think it's Chapman's anyway, so we're good there. Sometimes she goes overboard and makes a mess. On a whim, she grabs one with her hand and crushes its skull whole. There are myriad ways. She tries something she saw in a comic book, picking up a large vehicle and using it to crush them. Well, I mean, popsicles have always been kind of whatever. I think they've always been, you know, cheap ingredients. Sometimes they're handy tools at a nearby construction site. Steadying her uncontrolled breathing, she considers whether to return or continue. If memory serves, her objective was to investigate this abnormality. The resumed Holy Grail War. She had been bounding through the night in search of its cause and true nature. It was somewhat productive. However, despite surveilling a certain servant from Shinto, she hadn't learned any clues. I'm sorry to hear that you're having some lag issues. Yeah, well, it's what happens, man. You just gotta be careful what you buy. However, despite surveillance... Oh, never mind. We already did that. There is one major difference between her and the other servants. Well, that's because we use healthier ingredients. I mean, it's just the way it is. The monsters roaming the night. No one should be able to notice them until the final day, but she has been aware of them since the beginning. She left the house on her own to investigate them and has been examining them one by one as described above. She feels nothing in particular about it. She can move automatically when she has to do something she isn't interested in. She halts her emotions and becomes a machine carrying out a predetermined task. That's why she finds the nighttime hunt neither interesting nor boring. It's just work. An eternally fruitless labor. She will run through the night performing a task neither exciting nor tedious until she gets results. Rockets are healthy? Oh god, that's hilarious. And yet, when did even that start to go awry? She steadies her uncontrolled breathing. If she sets her mind to it, she could complete this errand in half an hour. Actually, would is the appropriate word here. There's nothing to be gained no matter where she looks. In this sea of crimson, all she does is kill. She can't investigate anything further, and there's nothing to find. She needs to painstakingly examine each and every monster, but there are none left. She steadies her uncontrolled breathing. The monster they may be, but to her, they're no better than trash. 100 or 2 didn't even suffice as a warm-up. But she still has to steady her breathing. Sadly, all I eat is white bread. Plasticky goodness. Panting, she chooses to continue tonight's investigation. Just one more. I'll check just one more. She convinces herself to keep going and bounds toward the next hunting ground. It is kind of nice to know that rockets and popsicles are healthy. There is already a horde of 100 monsters there. She's examined tens of thousands already, learning nothing from them, and yet she continues to the slaughter tonight. She mechanically bathes in the blood. Her breathing is starting to run wild again. Yes, tasty microplastic. One more. I want to check out one more. Just one more. This can't be a bad thing to do. They're just monsters. There's no end to them, and this was the task she was given. Yes, yokai eating white bread. It's all I eat is white bread. She doesn't feel any doubts, much less meaning about any of it all. They're clearly the ones who are wrong. If they don't want to die, then they should just not appear. But they boil up out of every nook and cranny like insects, so she has no choice but to take them all on. She wishes she would leave her home, but she needs to deal with them, or leave them. She wishes they would leave her alone. That's right. Back at the very beginning, she didn't really want to do this, but she had no choice. There's something more precious to her than her objections, so she carries out her role. Still, she didn't really want to, so she tried to stop being a living creature and turn into a man-killing trap whenever she had to go to work.
Medusa? どこに行ったの？もう戻ってくる時間でしょ?
It happened after the umpteenth job.
ほら、早く出てきなさい。私が素敵な贈り物をいただいたのよ。今日は特別にあなたにも分けてあげるわ。
She became a trap for humans who came to take her sisters by force. Well, yeah, I mean, you can't get around that.
嫌な匂いね。
Even
そこにいるの？
glacier water is full of microbes. I mean, that's just the way life is. She didn't turn them to stone. Their carcasses. She took their carcasses and...
メデューサ、あなた、そこで何をしているの？
The hitched figure startles, caught while sipping. She doesn't want to remember those days. Her sister's eyes were always bright and joyful, but they turned white with fear. She continued to feast in the name of investigation. Her body grows more used to the task each time she repeats it. She's on an endless crescendo now. The monsters are stronger than humans, but is still far cry from being able to keep up with her. They're just right for her to crush. She feels the sensation of shifting into the next gear. From low to mid, and mid to high. If there's a problem, it's that there's no limit to how high her gears can go. Her body, her outer shell, will become unable to withstand the ever-increasing RPM. Why is she so immersed in her task? She thinks she must have ended up uncharacteristically prioritizing work because her enemies are weak and the environment is ideal. After all, the town is uninhabited. The residents disappear at midnight. I mean, I guess. Our water's pretty filtered though, so... I mean, yes, we do need to stop using plastics as much as possible, but... I mean, some things you can't make them out of anything else. Did the monsters kill them all? Or did they never exist to begin with? It must be the latter. The monsters attack humans, but she never seen them kill a human. They only lay hands on those like themselves. They only show any interest and hatred for monsters like them. You filter yours? Extra filtered? I mean, fair if that's what you want to do. That's why she was taken by surprise. She assumed that there would be no humans left once the monsters were out at night. So when she saw a girl in the park, she didn't hesitate to impale it. Yes, we need to make more biodegradable plastics like that bamboo stuff. Absolutely. Totes agree. Her confusion and regret immediately faded. This town was always devoid of life. A human had appeared to wander into it, or just happened to wander into it. The monsters would have gotten it, even if she didn't. So it's okay. She sighs, acknowledging that she committed a trivial, meaningless error.
よくはないわ。あなたがどのような生き物で、これがどのような状況であろうとも、あなたは人を殺したのよ。
The girl should be dead, but her mouth announces the sin in a single voice. She stands up. Her wounds don't close. She twitches and throbs. The words are trapped in her throat. She craves oxygen. The sight alone makes her dizzy. Ah, how fragrant that red, delicious essence of life that I could never find, no matter how many of those monsters I killed after searching high and low.
こらえが効かないのね。我慢できないのならどうぞ好きにして結構よ。だってそうしたくて真っ先に人間である私に襲いかかったのでしょ。
The voice carves into her chest. Yes, the monsters are still milling around, but she ignored her targets and threw her dagger at this girl instead. She shakes her head no. Her hair writhes like a snake in pain. Desperately, she denies it as an accident, insisting that she had a different role.
別の役割。あなたの異常を解明したいというの。
You buy all your drinks in tins and whatnot, cans? I mean, fair. Every little bit helps, man. We all need to do our part.
大した疑問ね。あなたはこれっぽっちも町のことなんて考えていないくせに。
Her words open up her chest cavity, exposing her heart to the outside air. Yes, she doesn't care about keeping the peace in town. This was all for her master.
ああ、立派なサーバントね。けど、これは本当に彼女のためになるのかしら。
Steel-cased video game editions? Those gotta be expensive, though. The air is toxic. The girl approaches her step by step. Not with her feet, but with words. Her space isn't being invaded, but her heart is. The object now is to hit her crumbling body with the final stake.
何日も繰り返していい加減疲れたでしょ。ここで楽にしてあげる。正直見ている私も飽き飽きしてきたところだし。
She throws the dagger at the girl's mouth. Her aim is perfect. The stake skewers the girl's head in a spray of blood and mangled tongue. Of course it's worth helping the Earth. Abso-friggin-lutely. Without it, we wouldn't be here. And yet...
認めなさいメドゥーサ。あなたは本当は恨んでいる。あなたは本当は楽しんでいる。あなたは単に大切だという彼女以上にこっちの方が大切なのよ。
The girl doesn't fall. The purple snakes are drenched back in blood.
機械に徹したところで奪った命の重さは変わらない。目を伏せたところで亡くなった命は消え去らない。蓋を閉めたまま生きていたらいつか自分の中身さえ
Personally, I think the most convincing evidence that there's intelligent life in the galaxy out there somewhere is that they're not making contact with us. Because, I mean, have you looked at humanity lately? Who in their right mind would want to come here? I mean, they'd land, get out their spaceship, and probably get their head blown off within 30 seconds. Would you want to come here if you were an alien species, knowing what humanity's like? What an eyesore. The assailant doesn't even care that this human, what this human is anymore. She's just an eyesore. So she'll kill her until she shuts up. She rips open her lukewarm belly and tears out her entrails. Wow, holy crap, Medusa! She wants to shout for joy. She never felt better about taking her anger out on this girl compared to all the other humans she killed before. She dismantles the body starting from the stomach until only the head remains. Now the girl won't talk anymore. She feels a wave of relief mixed with disappointment that she can't kill the girl again.
これで理解できたでしょ。あなたはあなたにふさわしい場所に戻りなさい。
Finally, she finally realized her true feelings. Her yearning to kill humans so badly it hurts. Once upon a time, there was a princess who one day came to be hated by the people who once loved her. They exiled her to a faraway island. Nothing was on that island. It was a far cry from her colorful life from before. I don't know. I think there's probably intelligent life out there. Like, I mean, life takes a long time to get shit going, and evolution takes forever and a day. But there are stars and worlds that are so much older than ours. You know what I mean? And if we're the only intelligent life in the galaxy, that's a waste of a goddamn perfectly good galaxy. The priestess, who was scared of the people who got angry at her for no reason, she wished that no one else would ever come to her island. But she was so very lonely and sad. She didn't know what she'd done wrong.
メドゥーサは一人になるとすぐ泣き出すでしょ。私たちの親族としてそんな恥さらしは許しません。
After a while, her older sisters came to the island.
私はメデューサなんてどうでもいいんだけど、まあ召使いは必要だし。
I mean, it like I said, whatever helps, right? How wonderful. The princess's sisters were loved by all, but they still came to live with her on the island. Her loneliness faded. The island was still empty, but that was fine as long as her sisters were there. Now she only feared the humans. The brave came to drive the princess away. As if they weren't enough, they even threatened her two sisters. The princess decided to retaliate in order to protect her sisters. What a wonderful act of love. Yes, this time, she would do to the humans what they did to her. But see, I think the time travel you can only go backwards in time to the point where time travel was invented. Otherwise, you're causing all kinds of crap.
挑みに来た人間たちが命を落とすのはけれどそれを娯楽にしてはいけないわ。
They kept coming one after the other. There was no end to them, so she started figuring out how to kill them faster through trial and error. Once the traps she invented start working well, she started to feel a little strange.
あなたの魔眼は戒めるためのもの。決して
Personally, I don't think
恐怖を
so.
与えるものではないのです。それを口にするのはやめな。私が近頃のあなたは恐ろしいと怯えているわ。
No matter how infamous she grew, there was no end to human tenacity. The princess sisters scolded her, and the princess began to grow ashamed of what she now looked like. So she kept her distance from her beloved sisters. Until she ended up all alone once again. She was so lonely and sad that she began to crave a new sacrifice. Come to think of it, they were the first sacrifices. The thought made her blush and laugh. She swings her daggers in ecstasy. She crushes them, laughing contemptuously. She runs as if feeling something. There's no stopping her feet or her breathing now. She feels dizzy every time she crushes one. Disgustingly dizzy. Dreadfully dizzy. Her obsession accelerates into mania, and before she knows it, she's butchering the monsters with single-minded enthusiasm. Oh, you think it's multiple timeline shit going on? I mean, it could be. It would be impossible to know for sure. But it definitely could be. She doesn't want to think, so she just gives herself over to her natural animal urges. The hunt is just too fun not to. The night goes on. The slaughter continues. There are no living humans in the town at night, only roaming monsters. What? I don't remember what he said to him. I don't remember the line, to be honest. And then she breaks. With each kill, the burden on her body grew. Every time she pulped a monster, she forgot more and more words. She was destroying herself. It occurs to her to look down. Her body has returned to the way it looked back then. She doesn't scream. Her boiling mind freezes at unbelievable speed. I knew this would happen. She has no time to laugh or cry. In the interval it would have taken to do so, she stabbed repeatedly. Fair. I mean, like I said, it could be true. I don't know. There's no way to know for sure. The wounded monsters surround her. The person was on the verge of death. A multitude of claws rip and tear, leaving nothing of her below the chest. Like mincemeat, all that remains of this dark husk of that female monster is the upper half, and her doom is only minutes away. While breathing raggedly, she looks at her bloodied hands, red and black. She swipes her claws, the only vestige of what she used to be, and the monsters milling around her. This dead enemy still has the power to fight back. He said, Luke, I am your father. Yes. It was, I am your father. Your father. The monsters calmly watch their new kindred die. It's hard to breathe. She should be dying, but her body won't stop changing. It probably won't stop even after her death. After she dies, the thing that used to be her will be reborn as a monstrous anti-hero that might not even resemble her before disappearing. She whispers the fact that she can still speak like a human is an irritating, lingering attachment. She stares dreamily at her hands, which are turning into monsters' limbs. She knew this would happen. She admitted as much to him. Her current form was only temporary, and she would eventually end up as the hideous monster she truly was. Her doom was all but guaranteed. I'm pretty sure that in that scene he said, I am, but I don't know, it's been a long time since I watched that movie. I might have to rewatch it and double check. From the moment she first tasted a human's, this ending was certain. She grew day by day. First her body collapsed, then her heart, and finally her very existence. She just wanted to become stronger to protect her sisters. But in the end, she saw even them as intruders in her nest. She doesn't know what happened to them. At the time, she had no eyes, or nose, or mouth. She had transformed into a realm that ground up all of its prey. No, that was what she did as a monster. It had nothing to do with what she was before turning into one. So it shouldn't hurt. But it probably did. The mere thought of it makes her want to gouge out her own eyes. The sacrifices came before the monster of their own accord. They held hands and stilled their trembling feet, gazing up at the completely changed monster. The older sister Steno's voice was like a melody. She smiled at the monster with the same affection she always showed. So kind of along the lines of deja vu in The Matrix.
私は諦めが早いから捨て鉢になってたけど、私は永遠に純潔を守るつもりだったわ。
Uriel, the second sister, looks indignant. Even as she scolds their sister, a look of pity crosses her face.
まあ素敵。じゃあ満足よね、エウリアレ。これで最後まで純潔だったわ、私たち。
Steno grips Uriel's fingers tightly. As if trying to give her courage. As if reminding her not to run from their precious family.
そうね。
I mean, you're welcome to believe that. It's not quite what I believe, but to each their own.
そうしないとあんまりにもこの子がバカみたいだし、それぐらいは意義があったものにしてあげないと。
The sacrifice thinks. The two of them despise humans, but their little sister never did. Men loved the sisters and swore to ravish them. Steno thought of it as fate, while Uriel raged against it, but still resigned herself to it. And their younger sister defended them from it all.
あなたは私たちを守った。けれど、私たちを守ったメドゥーサはもういない。
No, the Medusa that once protected and cared for you is gone forever.
なら、守られていた私たちも同じようになくなりましょう。
What's lost will never return. Steno dreamed of that they would live forever on this island at the furthest reaches of the earth. She closed her eyes and raised her hand. Her head, my bad.
もう寝る前か。
I mean, I have to question the sanity of opening a black hole on the planet's surface. I'm sorry, I have to question that sanity.
じゃあね。さようなら、かわいいメデューサ。最後だから口を滑らせてしまうけど、憧れていたのは私たちの方だったのよ。
Past days will never happen again. Uriel believed that they would escape this rustic temple someday and go back home. She smiled like she used to and raised her head. Millions of snakes devoured the sacrifices. I know they found a way to make black holes on the planet. They shouldn't, though. Doesn't seem like a wise thing to do. There was no joy or sadness in it. The monster ground them down to nothing like ants swarming a piece of food. In the end, the immortal sisters, who were beautiful, sisterly until the very end, both became a living part of the monster. No trace was left. They became the blood that would keep the monster moving. The three sisters of Gorgon, the Dark Temple. The goddesses were banished to the shapeless isle and went on to become the monsters that human tales speak of. What did she love? What did she want to have? She had so little that was precious to her. so she intended to protect them no matter what. Exactly! What happens if that black hole gets out of control? In her dying moments, utterly transformed, she can't remember at all. The transformation won't stop. At this rate, she'll become a monster and disappear. Then it'll all be over. She will be summoned as a monster incarnate whose purpose is to eliminate humanity, not someone who protects humans. The transformation won't stop. There's nothing she can do, and it doesn't matter. The swarm of monsters sound like they're having a festival. The resentful voices herald the coming of a new monster. Her consciousness is fading away. She feels like she has something left to do, but can't achieve it. She'll just close her eyes calmly as her life runs out. She realized something unfamiliar is watching her.
あれ？俺が見えるの？そうか。あんたも怪物になっちまったんだな。
The thing laughs in a familiar way. She has vague sense that she's heard it before, but also she's never heard his voice. A smirking mouth and mocking eyes. She feels intense annoyance. Sadism bubbles up within her. Her body was intact. She'd wring his neck.
ああ、いや、ちょい違うか。あんたはそんなすっきりしたもんじゃない。あんた、自分が何者か自覚はある？
Aware? She isn't ready to go, but she accepts the fact. Her designation in the Throne of Heroes is going to change from female Medusa to the monstrous Gorgon.
なるほど。潔い。けど、あんたは怪物の定義を知らなそうだな。
I couldn't agree with you more on that one, Gumi.
わかってるか？それは生きるために人を襲うんじゃなく、人を襲うために生きる生き物だ。人間社会をそれが怪物ってもんなんだが、自分だって言い切れる？
She knows she personified what she's about to become countless times. I've always been a monster. She's just disguised herself with reason and beauty. She'll eventually become a monster, so that must be her true nature. That's why it doesn't matter. She roamed the night in search of blood and found herself immersed in slaughter. A monster like her was bound to shed its skin eventually. But it laughs. It finds this truly amusing. It finds this genuinely detestable. It laughs as if to scorn her, as if she became a more grotesque monster with each passing minute. Yeah, maybe. It might happen.
だから、そこが違うんだ。いいかい？怪物は本能で物を殺すんじゃない。それは優れた理性で物を殺すんだ。人の手に有り余る性能を総動員して何の疑いもなく何の悲しみもなく身もだえるほどの喜びを持って殺し続けるのが怪物だ。ただなんとなくで人間を殺すだなんてそんなのは違う生き物なんだよ。あんたはまだどっちにもなれない半端者みたいだけど同時にどちらにも傾ける猶予がある。
The thinking part of her that wanted to be gone moments ago reaches for the precept of fate. Or precipice of fate. She reaches for it, pathetically wanting to remain on the earth. Maybe real-life fox girls? Maybe.
わからないか？血を求めるあんたと他のものが気になるあんた。それはどちらも真実だ。どっちも否定はできないだろ。欲望に優劣なんざない。どっちが大きいか、どっちが大切なのかはその場その場で変わるものだ。肝心なのはあんたがまだ持っているかどうかの話。
何？
She puts the tiniest shred of strength into her arms, which are reaching for the abyss. She's actually using every last drop of her remaining power, but it's hopelessly insignificant amount. Not enough to pull herself back up. No matter how much she struggles, she's going to disappear. The thing gazes down at her plight, chuckling.
ではとライダーのサーバント。あんたは望むものがまだかけらでも残っているか？
There's nothing she wants, but she did have a powerful wish. あなたはあなたにふさわしい場所に戻りなさい。
That's exactly it. Even if she is Medusa now, she can't save the version of herself that becomes Gorgon. There was no saving her from the start. So there's nothing she wants. No matter how she spends her days, in the end she'll become a killing, devouring monster and leave nothing behind. But there's still someone whom even I can save. Servants are summoned by masters who are like them. That's doubtably true when the summoning catalyst is weak, or doubly true when the summoning catalyst is weak. She answered the girl's summons because they had similar destinies. She was fated to become a monster someday. As a fellow monster, victims who would one day become aggressors, they formed a bond. That's why she won't let that girl become like herself. There's nothing she can do to change herself now, but she can still protect the future of someone who has the same destiny. I never got to enjoy my own happiness. I never paid for my own sins. She dearly loved that selfish, foolish girl, desperate show of courage. She stares at her hands, astonished. The change is stopped, and she's disappearing as herself.
怪物じゃないからだろ。みっともないが、誰かを助けたいという気持ちがあるのなら、あんたはギリギリ人間だ。
As long as she wants to save Sakura, she still barely counts as human. She can hear the voice coming from somewhere. It seems to be nearby, but she can't see who's speaking.
ああ、これで解決しちまったな。あんたの悩みは永遠について回るが、その願いがある限り怪物になることはない。
We get to keep our wonderful
その
rider.
苦悩と同じように永遠にこちら側に来ることはない。
The presence begins to fade. She can only see its silhouette. It waves farewell.
待って。
I think we're around 85 to 90% actually. She calls out, coughing blood.
さすがにしつこいな、ヘビ女。大した生命力だが、今回はおとなしく死んでおけ。で、目が覚めたらマスターに謝っておくといい。ほら、俺が言うのもなんだけどさ、マスターとサーバントは仲良しじゃなくっちゃな。
The thing snickers before disappearing. At the very end, she saw a boy she knows well in that thing.
そうですね。
She sighs heavily. She lowers her arms that she had previously extended in order to reach for something.
本当、私はいつまで経っても愚かです。
This time, she closes her eyes. Relieved that she found her wish again on the cusp of death.
もうすぐ帰りますからさくら。
She speaks a promise she can't keep, and her beautiful form fades from the earth. Oh, did Ryder go bye-bye? Wow, what the hell? That was a brutally graphic couple of hours. My goodness. But that is the legend of the Gorgon sisters. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna call her there for today. Thank you for joining me in today's stream. Hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, it was a little dark, wasn't it, Connie? You're very welcome. I'm glad you made it to the stream and enjoyed, even if it was a little dark. If y'all haven't checked out Tuesday's episode of my Star Rail adventure, please do check that out. And we'll have some more SAO Dissidents in the Nexus coming out tomorrow. So be looking forward to that. Alright guys, well we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for meow. How many live streams of this do we have left? I'm not sure, Gumi. Probably 2 or 3. Alright guys, we'll catch you later.